Obviously, for me as a head coach, responsible for everything in this program from the time we left Champaign to where we are right now. So there's a lot of things I got to get better at to give us direction to get where we need to be. Told our guys afterwards that there was a lot of things that I was very proud of them. We always talk about the next man up, and today I knew coming into today that we weren't going to have Chase Brown, we weren't going to have Witherspoon, we weren't going to have Jake Hansen, which were three of our best players, and I thought the guys that stood up for them and stepped into their roles really did a great job of preparation during the course of the week and answered the bell on a couple occasions today. I think this is the game that we wanted to play. I think defensively we wanted to keep the ball in front of us, bang their receivers around, make them play, kind of a brand that they don't execute all that much against. We wanted to bang the receivers and keep the ball, play a little bit of two. Thought our guys held the game plan together fairly well. Obviously, when we punted the ball down there, put the ball in the 5, been playing their tails off all day, had a little issue over the middle, but just weren't able to come up with a stop at that point. Offensively, I thought, between McCray, Jakari, and Reggie, those three guys knew during the course of the week that Chase wasn't going to be here. I thought they really continued to take a step forward. None of the three have really played a lot of football, so to know them come in and prepare for a Big Ten game, I was happy with their preparation. They all kind of did some good things out there today. Couldn't ever just really get consistently going offensively. I thought that was a point. We do a couple positives. Even that last drive, getting down there in positive field position, we just weren't able to close it out. Very frustrating. The good news is we got some young guys that continue to. I thought it was great to see Pat Bryant involved. Offensively, you got some new faces involved in the line as well as at the tight end position. So, frustrating. I get it. Tell these guys they got to keep chipping away. I think the part that amazes me every time is just how resilient they are and the lessons they're learning. I know they're very frustrating, especially the fans, the parents, the families, administrators, the university. I know it gets very frustrating. But I can tell you that we continue to make strides, and this process is not going to be an easy one, but it's going to be one that's going to be worth it. I think our guys know that, understand it, see it, and I think that's why you see them keep competing the way they do.
Where does it go into the decision to not put the field goal or to not go forward?
Well, on 4th and 2, you're talking about at the end, so we had just missed from the 36. The ball was really in the same position. It was good, +2, I think, where it was. We were going the opposite direction as rolling around. What I didn't want to do, we were up by 3, a little bit different than the scenario last week. And it was a 4th and 2. It wasn't a 4th and 1. So I felt we were going to have to throw the ball to make that happen. We had gone for a 3rd and 4 the series before, really kind of almost the same spot in the field and didn't convert. So I wasn't going to go 4th and 2. If we didn't convert, turn the ball over and give it to them 35 with huge momentum down by 3. I think everybody that talks about going for it, right, they're thinking about, they're getting it, right? They don't think about what happens if you don't get it. I'm trying to win a game, right, not lose a game. And I know that sounds silly because we just lost it, but it's the decision that I would make 100 times over to go for it, pin it, put the ball in the 5. A defense that's been playing that way the whole way. I'd do it 100 times over.
So you're trying to draw them off and you had the offense up there before you called the timeout?
Yeah, and I knew there was a noise factor, the cadence, and that's. I just didn't feel good about our execution, and fortunately I called timeout because we jumped as it was there and would have been backed up.
You talk a lot about complementary football, and have you seen enough of that where they watch against our defense?
I think our guys understand it. They get it. They're working their way to it. We talked all week about the type of game we wanted to play, and this is exactly what it was. We thought if we played a type of defense, the calls that we were making, and be consistent, and we felt that we could, put ourselves in a positive situation. I do think offensively, we wanted to make it a physical game. We wanted to come downhill at them and, take advantage of some shot opportunities. We just weren't ever really able. I think we threw the ball deep 3 or 4 times that we just weren't able to come up with one of those big plays. You'd like one of those 50-50 balls to come up with it. We had the 1 PI, which obviously helped us, but I think for us, we got to consistently grind it out, and then those shot plays come and those moments come. We got to be able to capitalize on at least half of them.
I mean, Josh played really well.
Josh, right?
Yeah. What was going back the rest of the offense? Because there's a time there where he had more yards than his teammates.
Yeah. Josh is a very good football player who's just beginning to scratch the surface of what it was. Just a little thing right there at the end, we actually stepped out of bounds at the 2-minute mark, right? And so if it was 1:59, the clock would have stopped. At 2 minutes, the clock was running, and I was yelling that. I think guys thought the clock was stopping because it was at the 2-minute mark, so it's got to be below 2 minutes for that to happen. So there's just incredibly different scenario there, 1 second versus 2, right? So like it's just unmercifully painful thing to go through, but we got to make them aware of it as coaches and players. We got to get better at that exact moment. Was there ever a consideration to change quarterbacks? No.
I feel like you got out of Jakari in that second half.
Yeah, you know, when we had a couple runs up inside with Reg and Josh, I said, why don't we get Jakari in there as a change of pace, and that's when he, popped the one off the edge there, 2 in a row. But I think the thing that Jakari brings, he's explosive, he's powerful, he's a very, very gifted back, and I think we got to try to figure out ways to use him more, especially if we have been pounding it up in there with Josh and Reggie. I think he's a nice compliment to those two.
You've mentioned analytics before and such. On a 4th and 1 decision like that, or 4th and 2, do you use a card? Do you have anything else, or just gut?
Again, there's a huge difference right there. What you said, at 4th and 1, we would have went 4th and 2. We were in the exact same point in the field, almost the exact same scenario on a 3rd and it was a 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. Ran a pass play that obviously didn't convert. For us to go for it at that moment, obviously, if it works, you feel good about it. But again, it's the flip side. Analytics to decision making. It's the result of a failure that can potentially lose a game for it more so than a win, right? So we put the ball 5-yard line. So made the advance for them 30, 32, 33 more yards that they had to execute and get a touchdown. They hadn't scored a touchdown all day. That's what I was going on for more than anything.
What do you think was the difference on that last drive for them to be able to take it 94 yards?
They had a couple big plays over the middle. There was some opportunistic moments where they converted, made some catches. There was a boundary throw. There was a play that I thought he was in the pocket. I was trying to get an intentional grounding call, but they said that he was outside the pocket. There's a variety of different things that just critical moments where we got to have one of those plays come our way. Unfortunately, it didn't, and the result was we lose the game.
But just clarity, that can't go for the field goal at that time just because jinx.
Yeah, the one before, I just didn't feel good about. The wind had been rolling all day. Again, it was we were up by 3. Thought we could pin the ball deep. I really did think our defense would be playing well the whole day. I didn't think there was the chance of them going the entire distance. I knew we'd execute. I'd seen Blake go through that exact same scenario several times, and again, to execute and put the ball in the 5, I couldn't have been happier with what that moment was.
When that happens 2 weeks in a row where it seems to backfire again, that's always make all the time, but how do you process that as a head coach?
Well, I mean, we got to continue to learn our team. As a head coach, got to go that moment. I know it sounds like the difference of a yard, but again, it was 4th and 2. It wasn't 4th and 1. If it was 4th and 1, different decision. We had a game plan and to go with it, but the 4th and 2 call that we were going to execute, I just didn't feel good about where we were at with that. Hadn't been able to execute that exact play at that point, so that's why I opted to go for it. I asked for some input, but ultimately as a head coach, I made a decision to punt.
What have you thought of why Ryan's defense is really
I think Ryan, the defensive coaches have learned their players better. They've understood what they can and can't do. I think it was a difficult thing this week. We didn't even bring Spoon with us. We probably knew midweek that Spoon wasn't going to be able to play, right? Had kept that kind of under wraps, so I kept him and Chase just where they were at on Thursday. We knew they weren't going to be ready for the game. There was an outside chance that Jake was going to be able to play. That's why we brought him, but he got ruled out before the game started. So defensively, I thought Aaron and Coach Boo in particular, those two guys knew they were going to be without, in theory, their best player at their respective positions, and got guys ready in a short amount of time to play very, very well.
We try to get 55 minutes of pretty good defense, 53, 54 today. What's that next step where you finish?
Yeah, you got to, again, depth, the ability to adjust to the game as it unfolds, come up with a critical play in a critical moment. At some point, it's going to happen, and then that's that guy. I think we just continue to do a good job. I give a lot of credit to the players and the coaches that resiliently come back after guys have been banged up, and execute the task that we give them. But it's very frustrating, obviously, to play that good of football and at the end come away short.
What do you think about the growth of Kirby Johnson? We talked a couple weeks ago about him.
Yeah, Kirby is a guy from day one when we got here. You know, he's got a great personality, great athleticism. I think he just continues to get smarter and smarter the way he plays the game. I like the way Ryan's worked with him individually, just building his confidence up. And I think this is the third game in a row now where he's come away with a turnover of some capacity. He's a guy that finds himself around the ball. But I think he'd be the first to say too. He hasn't played a perfect game yet, and he's a player that I'm excited about where he can go in the next games ahead of us, and then also in the future.
Last question before players.
How much do you think Sidney Brown's big hit, I guess, set the tone for you?
Yeah, I do think that our guys, especially in the back end, like that's the easiest position, right, to be susceptible to some targeting stuff, right, and I think they've learned to play by the rules. I remember coming into the program and had a player that had 3 targeting calls in one season, right, and we kind of really emphasized last spring the education of the process, and literally as soon as that play happened, obviously it was a violent hit, and I felt very much for the health and safety of their player. 87 is a really good player for them, a very dynamic guy, but I said it right away as soon as the play, I go, that was a clean hit, I believe, and the officials made a very strong point to come to me and said that they did take a look at it, they reviewed it and ruled that it was obviously a non-targeting foul. So that's the violent part of the game that unfortunately the people do get banged up and injured, but that was a clean hit, and I thought Sidney, at that point, he could have easily been involved in a targeting situation, just the angle and the collision that was coming, and he did a great job of making it clean.
Okay, thank you, everybody. We're going to do players right outside the door here.
Thank you.
Yeah.